Good morning, colleagues. Whilst some of the other attendees are still coming in, I think it's good if we start on time. Welcome back to day 2. I hope you had a restful evening and that you are feeling refreshed and eager to continue the discussions and the explorations that we started yesterday. I must say I was very impressed with the level of engagement and the enthusiasm in the rooms yesterday, and it was very inspiring to see the work that's being done all over the world. So thank you for being part of this symposium and for joining us on day 2. Day 2 is jam-packed again. We're kicking off with a panel discussion and then followed by an interview. We've got 6 how-to sessions. We've got 2 workshops, 5 presentations, and so there's lots to do. But I think we'll kick off today with something interesting that Marie's thought up for us again. I mean, trust Marie to always come up with something weird and wild and wacko. So I've actually spent time last night thinking, if for real I was an insect, which one would I be? And I kept coming back to a spider, and then I realized, but it's not an insect, so it wouldn't have worked. Marie, I'm going to hand over to you and let's get going.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. I have the lovely privilege here to have a big truck outside of my office, so I'm sorry about any background noise that you have here. It's a sudden happening here. But let's introduce ourselves. We're going to do just 1 or 2 rounds of this. I initially thought last night maybe we're not going to do it, but it seems as if you enjoyed the insects. So let's see how creative you can be with this one. So before I put you into groups, don't get distracted by the ocean and the boat and the lonely path. I want you to pick a tree or flower and then introduce yourself. So I'll go first. Hi, I'm Marie. Today I wish I'm a sunflower because I like to turn my face to the sun. So I'm going to put you in groups. Let's do it twice, and then hopefully you will get an opportunity to meet 2 people this morning. I did not put the moderators in a group this time.
I'm happy about that. You already know that I want to be a baobab, right?
I know. I got distracted of what you want. I'm such a people's pleaser.
Naomi's in group 2 alone.
Are you in group? Is somebody in group 2 alone? Let me check.
Naomi.
I will move that person to a different group.
Okay, thank you.
Also, group 4 only has Adam.
Which group?
Group 4.
Group 4. So I'll move Naomi to group 4.
Okay.
And there'll be 2 of them there.
Okay, so I'll wait an extra 30 seconds before I stop this.
Well, it's interesting. The moment we say that we're breaking into groups, 6 people left.
Yeah, interesting, ne? It's interesting.
I probably would have been one of them had I had to be in a group. I'm so bad at this, and I'm always surprised at how fabulous the feedback is, how people really like it.
Yeah.
So Marie, if I'll open welcome, etc., to 8:50.
I can't hear you. Just say again.
No, I'm asking, so you need to keep them busy until 8:50.
Oh, I see. 8:45. Another 10 minutes.
40. Wait. Oh, yes, because there's a little break. Okay.
There's a little time to set up and get everybody whatever they need.
Okay.
Well, let's do 3 of this then. And then I'll have the video is short, but that's the grounding video. I'll try to do that around about 8:40.
Well, just leave them in the rooms for long, eh?
Yeah, I know. I'm just keeping it because Donald have moved some of them, so just give them an opportunity. Let me just go back to the rooms quickly.
Is everyone in the moderator group aware of the Portuguese meaning of Fodes, Marie?
Definitely everybody that's
Was in
yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We can just ask Palesa and Naftanla and Kutlwano. Did Donald told you about the meaning of Fodes in Portuguese?
Tony told me that he had a conversation with someone from
I've lost.
Mozambique, and that person actually informed them that this word was not a nice word in their local dialect or in Portuguese. So it's let me try and check here what it means. I'll come back
Oh,
to
I
you.
actually
I
see.
sent it to Marie. It's F-U-C-K, and so even if you go and search Fodes on Facebook, there's quite a lot of inappropriate profiles that come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said to somebody yesterday, we just need to maybe say F full stop, O full stop, D full stop, E full stop, S. Just break it as a word. People still call it Fodes, but just break it that in the eye of the beholder, it's not one word.
Can't you just call out the name, the full phrase, fully online thingy?
Yeah, we need to, but we used to. So if the moment you get a bit nervous, you go into default mode, then you switch back to that. So yeah, okay, I'm going to get everybody out of the groups, and then we'll do another round because I see there's people that are not in groups.
This one.
Yeah, so that is part of the clinical training with me.
Yeah.
We are back in the main room. So there's a few minutes left before we need to move on. So we'll do a quick round again, and hopefully you will get another tree or a flower to introduce yourself to. Okay, I think everybody's back in their groups. It looks like there are some places where there are 3, so that means that there will not be a loner somewhere. Okay. There's quite a lot that have left. Interesting. Okay, Eugenie, I'll wait another minute. Then it's 41, and then we'll bring them back. Then I'll play my 1-minute video. I hope it will play nicely. And I also hear my truck is gone. Yesterday there was somebody singing outside of the window. Today we had a truck.
We couldn't, or I couldn't hear your truck, Marie.
You couldn't hear it. Okay, that's good. I think it's because I have the headset on.
There's been quite a few times where people apologize for background noise and then no one in the room actually can hear it.
Yeah. So yesterday it was this guy singing, but it was not nice. It was not nice. I don't know what it was. And I thought, ooh, if it doesn't stop now, I'm in trouble. But it stopped eventually. I don't know what they're doing on Prinsenhof. Strange things are happening here. Okay, it's 41. Let me just give another second or three. And then I'll bring them back.
Is it okay if we close the Perlego giveaway at 12 today?
Yes, we just need to announce it. Just put it out on social media. Yeah. So the people who start in the walls, the presentations this morning, just remind the audience. Okay. Perlego. Close at 12. The exercise is at 1. And the Donald, spinning the wheel. When do you want that to change? To close? The closing is, we can close it at 2 o'clock. How does that sound? 5 past 2.
Lucky draw?
Yeah, the lucky draw.
Okay.
14, let's make it 14:05. 14, let's make it 2 o'clock, it's easier. The closing session is 15:15. Okay, so please, moderators, if you can just put that in the chat, if the chair is not saying that, okay? All right, I'm bringing everybody back. Okay, we are back in the main. I hope you met a tree this morning or a flower, maybe 2 of them. So, yeah. Was it okay? Did you meet 2 new people? Yes, Ramanda?
Sorry, I wanted to say yes, and I should have said
Okay,
it in
cool.
chat. I met a lot of beautiful flowers today. Thank you very much.
All right, that's good. Okay, and I see yes in the chat as well. Okay, so we are going to start shortly with our panel discussion and with our expert interview. But before that, I want us just to calm down a bit. We had heard a lot of stuff yesterday, and a lot of things is going through your mind. And I'm going to play us a video, so you need to read on the slide, and when it says close your eyes, just close your eyes for a moment. Otherwise, you're not going to know when the next one, the next slide is appearing. So let's do this now. Just double checking, can you all see my screen? Some voice, yes?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
No sound only.
Okay, am I back?
You are?
Yes, Marie.
Okay. All right. Do you still want me to increase the sound? Could you hear the sound?
There was no sound, but it was fine. I was just
No
wondering
sound.
if a
Okay,
person closes his eyes, how do you read the rest of the slides?
Okay, so let me do it again and see if I can give you the slide. Sorry about that. Of the sound, let me just do it again.
Hello.
Better? Okay, with that calm note, I'm giving over to Tony Carr to prepare his participants for the first panel discussion of the morning.
Okay, thank you very much, Marie. I'm just having a look to see who's here of the participants. We have, I can see 2 of our panelists here. In fact, all 3 of the panelists are here. What I'm just going to ask them to do is if they can just in turns switch on their microphones and just check that we have sound that they're able to speak to us. Okay, so here we are. I'd like to ask perhaps Dr. Paul Birevo Muyinda, if you can just switch on your mic and check that you can talk to us.
Yes, Tony, do you hear me? I am here.
Loud and clear. Wonderful voice. Thank you. Then
Right.
Dr. Alitza Debra.
Hi, Tony. Hi, everyone. Good to be here.
Excellent. Thank you. And then Dr. Oyinka Oyerinde.
Hi, Tony. Hi, everybody. It's wonderful being here.
Wonderful. So we're hearing loud, clear, strong, powerful voices coming to us from Uganda, from Ghana, and from Nigeria. This is excellent. I see from the schedule that we are supposed to start at 8:50. Should we wait a minute or two before starting in case anyone just pops in at 8:50 for the event? What do you think, Marie?
Yes, Tony, I just want Donald to quickly make all of you presenters, so it's easy for us to identify you on the list of attendees, and then you can start right away at 8:50.
Okay, and colleagues, if you haven't used Blackboard Collaborate intensively in the past, that little arrow in the bottom right-hand corner on purple, the double arrow, opens the Collaborate panel, which will, when you need to, allow you to do the share content and share your presentation. If you have a few slides that you want to share, I wasn't expecting anyone to come with a lot of slides. And if you just need to talk, that's also a good, very well time-tested mode of communication. So let's give it a minute and then we'll get going.
Tony, if you can just check if the interviewee is also in the room.
The interviewee, let's just say Dr. Domingos. Let's see if he's here. I know he has a lot of meetings in Maputo. He isn't here at the moment, but we've got a little bit of time before.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is, Luis Neves Domingos. Good to see you. Maybe Dr. Domingos, maybe you want to test your microphone as well. Okay, we can do that. We can do that later.
Okay, perfect. All right,
As
you can
needed.
start then. Yes,
We can
100%.
start. Okay, let's just put this into a different window just to make sure that it's very clear what's going on here. Okay. Just going to share some content here. Share application or screen. Okay, dear colleagues, welcome to this event, a panel entitled Revolutionizing Higher Education Across Africa, Harnessing Technology for Inclusive and Innovative E-Learning. And what we're going to do is to benefit from the information, insight, and experience of colleagues in Nigeria, Ghana, and Uganda. So it's an opportunity to hear voices and experiences of successful innovators from universities in these countries. And I thought it was important to bring a panel like this to this conference because the conference in terms of presenters is very South Africa focused. And I think we need to recognize that South Africa is just one country in a very large continent, and that what is happening with e-learning, with blended and online learning in South Africa, is a small part of what's happening across the whole of Africa. And in working and discussing the theme with the presenters today, I've taken the perspective that what counts as innovation is the new energy and initiative that can nudge the local ecosystem towards transformation. It doesn't have to be something that's being done for the first time ever in the world or in Africa. For the purposes of this panel, it needs to be something which has been thought through in response to a challenge, has been implemented, adapted to whatever problems arose, and which has had significant positive impact in the university concerned. Our panelists, Dr. Paul Birevu Muyinda, Deputy Principal, College of Education and External Studies, Makerere University in Uganda. I know, Paul, that you have many other titles and responsibilities as well, and acknowledging that. Dr. Alitza D. Debra, Communication Designer, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana. Also a member of the Emerge Africa team. And Dr. Oyenka Oirinde, Deputy Director, Center for Entrepreneurship Studies, University of Jos in Nigeria. Yes, and a few months ago, thinking about this event, I contacted my colleague, Dr. Jerome Duga, who's a colleague at University of Jos, and said, I know the Nigerian university sector has been under massive pressure. Can you think of some people who are innovating despite this and getting good results? And one of the names that came up was Dr. Oirindes. Okay, so where are we going with this? What's our process? Our process is that each of the panelists will discuss the successful innovation in their university, allow people about 10 minutes for that, maximum. There'll then be time for a round of questions and comments from the audience. And please feel free to put your comments and your questions into the chat so we can harvest them in that part of the process. And then we'll ask the members of the audience here, is there something here that you can use? And we'll have closing reflections from the panel. So in terms of the order, I'm going to ask Dr. Paul Birevu Muyinda if you can start. And Eugenie, if you could please help us keep an eye on the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my old colleague, Tony. First of all, for the nice and interesting introduction of me, and for having invited me to participate in this 4 days symposium. You have introduced me as the Deputy Principal of the College of Education and External Studies at Makerere University. Indeed, yes, I was in that position until recently when I was made the Director of the Institute of Open, Distance and E-Learning. Yeah, that said, I want to give you some insights into what we have achieved at Makerere University in line with the open distance learning or e-learning or online education or innovative teaching and learning. As you may know, Makerere University is quite an old university. It's a university celebrating 100 years. We celebrated that last year, 2022, because we were started in 1922. It is a university that is largely a contact university, with the open distance learning programs constituting less than 10% of the student population. And our student population is about 40,000 students. So the majority of students are supposed to be contact students. But with the increasing proliferation of digital technologies, the contact mode is increasingly becoming blended, and the distance education mode, or the ODL mode, is largely becoming online. Since 2008, actually in our 2008-2019 strategic plan as Makerere University, we set out to mainstream innovative teaching and learning practices in all our academic programs. And so in 2015, the University Council promulgated a policy on open distance and e-learning. And this policy gave rise to the institute, which I'm heading as director, and that is the Institute of Open Distance and E-Learning. And so this institute has been at the center stage of integrating or innovating around teaching and learning. And in 2018, this institute actually developed a Masters of Instruction Design and Technology. And this Masters has been at the forefront of building capacity of staff within the university, but also staff outside the university in the country and Uganda. But all these initiatives actually came into prominence in the 2020 and 2021 period. And all of us know this period as the COVID-19 period. We realized as a university that we needed to be more resilient, and what would only make us resilient are the modalities of teaching through open distance and e-learning. So as a university also, we realized that there is no other person in the country that can provide leadership in digital pedagogy in the country and even within the region, because we already had developed a program on instruction design and technology. And therefore, we needed to beef up our capacity. We needed to beef up ourselves. We needed to do more in order to become more resilient and in order to provide the leadership in this modality of teaching and learning. So what did we do? Or what did we do in order for us to beef ourselves up? The first thing we first looked at was to see our capacity as a human resource in this area. And so we realized that we needed to have more instruction designers. We needed to have e-learning champions at schools, school level, college level, in the different universities. We needed to have what we call e-learning support officers, e-learning champions, and of course, we needed to have people that could take care of special needs, learners with special needs, and then multimedia specialists. We also saw that we needed to up our infrastructure. Our infrastructure was actually wanting, so we needed to upgrade our learning management systems. We needed to build multimedia studios to be able to develop multimedia content. We needed to support the students in accessing these systems because the cost of access to internet was high for the students to be able to comfortably learn. So we needed to zero-rate access to university systems, and we worked with telecom companies and internet service providers to zero-rate access to all university systems, and all university systems were zero-rated. So students and staff accessing these systems and other stakeholders were actually not being charged any cost. any coin. So we needed to also facilitate acquisition of devices because students did not have devices. So we needed to have a mechanisms of ensuring that all our students and staff can be able to have an access device. And so we entered into a tripartite partnership between the university, a bank, the banks, and then ICT service providers to be able to provide subsidized systems or subsidized devices on higher purchase order, on higher purchase basis. So students could be able to use quite little money to be able to acquire a device that they can be able to use throughout their study period. We also had to ensure that everyone is onboarded. Everyone is onboarded, and onboarding included onboarding students, bringing them on board and showing them the benefits and the need to actually innovatively learn and also to actually innovatively teach. We had to bring on board academic staff. We also had to bring on board non-academic staff because they had to support students. But above all, we needed to bring on board the university management, all the way from the university council up to the vice chancellors, the deans, the heads of department, principals, and so on. But most importantly, as a university, we realized we were head of the government. So we needed the government, actually, our Ministry of Education, to be brought on board because we were the active researchers in this in these innovative teaching and learning approaches, and our ministries were not researchers. So we needed to take these innovations to the ministry for buy-in so that they could be able to actually support the process. And in this way, we kind of advocated for the establishment of what we call the digital agenda strategy for the education sector. And we actively participated in developing the digital agenda strategy for the education sector, which is actually informing all investments, all initiatives in the education system on innovative teaching and learning. Then we embarked on massive capacity development of subject matter experts in online content development. And this way we trained more than 1,600 subject matter experts at Makerere University. We also took on an ambitious initiative called the e-learning initiative, in which we developed 2,560 courses. But this is just quarter way of the courses that we need. And of course, sensitization of students and staff continues, and it's very, very important. We also did not stop at just onlineizing academic content and services, but we also onlineized learner support services because we need learners grapple with a lot of other support services that they need. For example, psychosocial support. We needed to have leadership support for students, and then transition support from university to the field of work, and also provision of career guidance. So all these we needed to online them and have it. But then our journey has not stopped. We are still moving on, and we are still transforming content instructionally, and we are still building capacity of subject matter experts in online content development and online facilitation, or teaching, generally teaching with the technology. But also we are seeing a lot of emerging technologies that are disrupting or that are disruptive in nature to education, and that we can be able to, they are not only disruptive, but they're disruptive in the sense that they come in, and if the teachers don't know what to do, the learners don't know what to do, then we see a lot of interruption to teaching and learning. And these include the ethical use of artificial intelligence. So we are doing a lot of research on ethical use of artificial intelligence, especially generative AIs, on education, on research, and so on. We are also increasingly doing research on online assessment, because as we go into the online sphere, then also we must complete the equation of teaching, the equation of content, the equation of assessment. So all those, we are doing research in them. And so the journey is continuing, but we are achieving all this through partnerships with the government and with the development partners. Thank you very much. I want to stop at that for now. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muyinda. This was excellent timing and a most exciting input that you've given us. I love the way that Makerere has become a center of e-learning innovation in the region and is having a catalytic effect even at government policy level. So thank you very much for sharing that progress with us. Also noting that this comes after many decades of work in e-learning and distance learning at Makerere. This is not something that just came out of the blue in the last few years.
Sure.
I shall now invite Dr. Elitsa Debra from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to take the mic and talk with us.
All right, thank you so much, and happy Friday. And I'm super excited to be here, and it's great to have the opportunity to share some of the interesting things that we are doing on our side of the continent. And I must say that it has really been a journey, like how Tony was talking about. And thank you so much, Prof, for sharing your views as well, because one of the key things that has happened with e-learning within KNUST is that over the years, we've had our distance learning education, and we've also had our face-to-face, yes, we've also had our face-to-face teaching mode also happening in KNUST. And so prior to this, we had a distance learning happening, but some people would also be using technology here and there, that kind of live stuff for the in-person teaching. But over time, when COVID actually hit, then it came to the point that we all really realized the need for us to really roll out all our courses and also find a strategy to be able to put everybody online. If there's a need for us to work fully online, then we are really prepared to do that. So you realize that with e-learning, it's also got to do with a lot of infrastructure and also pedagogical strategies that we need to use to actually make this possible. So what we have done in our university was to actually have resource our e-learning capacity in our university, because KNUST is currently also one of the premier universities in Ghana and also in West Africa. So because of that, we are attracting students all over Africa to come here to study. So people don't only want to learn at a distance, but they also want to come to the campus to experience that. So what we have done now is actually to have a center where we don't have different sections working differently to provide these what we call it, services to students. So we have a center now which is managing everything with regards to e-learning in our university. And we have actually equipped our studios to be able to give capacity to educators to actually record their lessons and all of that, to be able to create quality content to keep with the evolving demands of modern education. Apart from that, we also have upgraded our server to be able to allow us to accommodate the increasing number of students and also the courses that we are shifting online. And because of this, there has also been a need for us to also provide data for our learners. So like a Prof shared, we have to do a lot of training as well, which we continuously do with our educators and also students and even administrative staff, because we are working across the university. So we did a lot of training, and we continue to do that, because it's not only about the technology, but how to use it and how to manage it, and also to bring everybody on board. And I like it when you mention about the e-learning champions, because we also use the e-learning champions idea to have every college has a key e-learning person to go to. And then it also goes down all the way to the various departments as well, to also make the e-learning more accessible to people. And we also deepen our support staff as well, so that it's not only about the technology, but you also have people supporting all the time to ensure that no learner is left behind and at the same time, it's also more accessible to people so that we are able to achieve our goals to bring e-learning education to everyone. So in the process of doing this, we also realized that there was a need for us to actually come up with open educational resources. So we have our KNUST studios, and also we are also using KNUST television to also create content and also deepen our open educational resources on all levels to be able to empower learners to study at their own pace and also promote flexible and accessible learning environment for everyone. So because we are offering free data to students, it's not only on their devices, but we also provide this access when you're on campus. But when you're off campus, because we have this kind of collaboration with key mobile network service providers, we are able to provide these services to learners. So they always have monthly data, which is given to them when they're outside campus, they can use, and then when they are on campus, they can use as well. So these resources have also proven to be very valuable to enhancing their overall educational experience. And then the next point is that we realize that we have different activities going on. So to even make these resources more accessible to learners, we created what we call the Academic Information Management app. So this app is an integrated app that students can access on their phone, and it also has a link which is integrated into the learning management system right in the app, so they can access their resources with a click of a button through their phone. So this app also gives them the chance to also access their results and course materials and even other related services that will actually simplify their academic journey. Because we didn't want the situation whereby they have to engage with different platforms to get these things done. So we actually brought it all together in the Academic Information Manager, which is the AIMS app. But one of the key things I would like to talk about with regards to technology and then innovation, you know, assessment is a big thing for all educators. And we have over 80,000 students. And every year we are actually getting about 25,000 students coming in. And some of them are taking common courses, for example, English literature, for example, and all first years are taking and all second years are taking this course. And it becomes very difficult for the educators to actually assess them and provide their assessment on time for us to actually put all their results together. So with the current situation, for us to be able to resource ourselves and also work through our learning management system, which we are currently using the Moodle platform, which we've customized as the V-class, which is virtual class for learners. We use that to be able to take their online exams. And prior to that, we're not able to do that quite efficiently. But here is the difference. We realize that if you are going to do online exams, you need to provide the relevant resources and all the security concerns for learners. So in this case, we are also looking at students learning in the face-to-face scenario. So there are weekly or term exams, every other activities one. They were doing that in bits as part of their online activity. So that also gave them some training to be able to do their final exams online. So what we did was that we actually use our ICT labs on campus. So you're actually taking this online exams on campus, so people don't have excuse that they don't have computers and all of that. So we provided that, and these were scheduled. So because of that, people were able to take their exams in a secured environment. There's no issue with connectivity and electricity, because in our part of the continent, you realize that you can have challenges with electricity, and sometimes the connectivity may not be stable. So with this, we've been able to achieve timely exams and also submitting the exam results in the most accurate time as ever before. Prior to this, we were not able to do that because every time there is also delays in assessing this. So these are one of the notable things that we've done. Beyond that, we are able to also provide education to more students across the country and even beyond. Now we've been able to put some of our courses fully online. So even if you're not in Ghana, you can actually access these courses and also take this your course from here and also get your certificate wherever you are. So I must say that this has also drawn government attention on what we are doing because KNUST is positioned as a technology university. And for that matter, we constantly work with other universities to be able to enhance learning activities and share our knowledge and resources to be able to bring everybody on board, because the government is also very keen about giving more access to education through e-learning. All right, so because of that, it's actually really ongoing to bring universities together for us to have some kind of common space for people who may not be able to come to the traditional university setting to be able to access education wherever they are. So we are really excited about enhancing our capacities and also continuously learning to be able to provide equitable access to education through the state-of-the-art technology and appropriate pedagogies to ensure that no learner is left behind. So thank you very much. I'll stop here and hand over to Tony.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Elitz. Deborah, that was impeccable timing. Didn't even need to say anything about it. And a lovely summation of what's going on at KNUST in Ghana. And our third panelist is Dr. Oyinka Orinde from University of Jos. And I know that you're coming to us with, instead of a list of about 10 different things, you're coming to us focusing on 2 very specific elements which make a big difference to the effectiveness and sustainability of blended and online learning from UniJOS. Please take the mic and switch on your video.
Thank you very much, Tony. I'd like to share some slides if that's possible. So I'm just trying to get that up now.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very
much. Just a second, yeah. So can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So like Tony said, I'd like to first of all appreciate the opportunity given. I'm from University of Jos, and we've been actually implementing e-learning for quite some time. I think our first delve into e-learning was as far back as 2008. At the University of Jos, we use the Moodle Learning Management System for our e-learning implementation. And within the Moodle Learning Management System, we have our courses set up, and we have classes where you could actually just get access to content and use the content as the instructor has prescribed. However, in 2011, we decided to then introduce computer-based testing. And in the computer-based testing aspect, we first of all started with TCA exams and then moved to using the quiz engine of Moodle. So the 2 aspects that I'll be talking about, one, the challenges we've had with computer-based testing, and 2, a result of the COVID-19 lockdown that led us to incorporate Big Blue Button into our Moodle Learning Management System. At the University of Jos also, we have Microsoft Office 365, which we use, and use the Microsoft Teams option predominantly for virtual classes. So Big Blue Button was brought in because during the COVID pandemic, situations were not ripe for in-person classroom interaction with instructors and students. But then aside from that also, there was a need for students to have little tutorials that they usually do with themselves. And when we implemented Microsoft Teams, because each session is recorded, we tended to have quite a lot of recordings, and that alone made it difficult to sift through to find out what was actually a class session or what was a tutorial session. So Big Blue Button was put in as a plugin into the LMS so that the students could use it for quick tutorial classes amongst themselves or quick Q&A sessions, so that we could separate that from the general class recording itself. There were little challenges, but Big Blue Button being an open source software and Moodle itself being an open source software, we're able to surmount some of these technical challenges to get it installed. And it's easily accessible by the learners, especially on their devices, Android devices, where they use the Moodle app that we have. So that makes it quick and easy for them to quickly schedule Q&A sessions and tutorials. With the Moodle quiz engine for the computer-based testing, there are two major problems which we encountered over the years. And the first was, as the number of classes that were now subscribing to the computer-based testing model for assessment for their courses grew, we had much challenges with number of students that were being assessed. And this led to network congestion most of the time across the network APs that we were using in the laboratory or in the hall where we carry out the computer-based testing. So that was one major challenge. And the second major challenge, which I've carried on over the years, was actually finding a way to assure the integrity of the examination itself. Because, you know, in a situation like this, you can have situations where somebody comes in who is not supposed to come in, and because he has the credentials of the learner himself, is able to come in and take the assessment on behalf of the learner, or some who stay actually within the range of the wireless APs and are able to reach the network security and access into the APs and are taking their exams from an unsecure location. So these were the two major challenges that we had, and I'll discuss our innovative solutions for those challenges. The first one was we decided to allow for concurrent multi-site conduct of the examination, so we could break down the network congestion and broadcast by introducing network segmentation using a virtual local area network. So we're able to, instead of concentrating on one local site for the testing assessment exercise, we're able to split that to multiple locations and then segment the network so that we avoid broadcast issues and we can thereby avoid congestion. The picture you see actually is a funny picture because that's actually a picture of people huddling outside one of the examination centers. And in our initial belief, we thought they were huddling and probably doing some last minute tutorials among themselves, but actually that's people sitting down and doing the examinations for themselves and for other people as well, just so there could be somewhere around the center where we carried out the computer-based testing. So what did we do to do this? The first thing we did was, the first solution we tried to employ was to scramble the SSID, that's the network ID, so you cannot know what network ID is being used for the exam, and introduce passwording and strong passwording for the wireless access points which broadcast the network. The challenge with that solution was that learners and those who want to compromise the system were able to view the SSID and the passwords and then can go out and do that as well. So that didn't really solve the solution. The second thing we did was to hide the scrambled SSID and the strong password itself. And then we introduced the MAC address authentication. That's actually authenticating each system by putting the physical address of that system into the wireless APs, so that only those addresses, only those in a pool, in a list, will be able to connect to the network to have access to the network. And we had a uniform naming convention for all the authorized devices, so that it would be easy to see if there's any rogue device that's in the network. You know, we think this would solve most of the problems, but you may have some other, we had situations where there were learners and other people who were technically proficient as well, and were able to clone MAC addresses, and that gave them access to the server and the examination itself. So we decided to take on a strong information security, network security model, and created what is called the AAA authentication system, which is authorization, authentication, and accounting. And this system is basically a system where the first level of authentication is done by a user, physical authentication, where the network administrator physically goes to every authorized device within his microsite or laboratory and physically authenticates that system with the username and the password. Then the second part of that is now also the MAC address, which has also been filtered in, and that is being done by the wireless AP or the microtic router itself, would now ensure that it's only those addresses in the pool, that's those devices who have the addresses in the pool, that are able to log in and access the network for the examination. And the third is with the uniform naming convention, we're now able to have a team that monitors all names of devices that are on the network. So if you do find a device with who has been able to pass through the first two and then doesn't conform to the naming structure, you're able to now pick that out and know that this is a challenge. So we have been trying to innovate to get a step ahead of those who would try to bring about network security breaches and undermine the integrity of the examinations, because that is a major challenge, inhibiting adoption of e-learning, wide-scale e-learning in conventional university systems, especially in Nigeria. You know, there's always a question of how do you maintain the integrity and the confidentiality of the assessment exercise. You know, how do you do that? So this has been a situation where we've been able to have 4 stages of authentication. Like I said, wireless connection, we had scrambled ID, authentication using MAC addresses, use the AAA authentication method, and we segmented our networks using virtual LANs. The picture here is of the great team that we have at the University of Jos, who have actually been researching and working hard to ensure that we're able to get this innovation done. And I'm glad to say that the last couple of exams we've had has been a little bit better, or much better than the previous ones, and we do hope to still do some more. Going forward, we aim to introduce biometrics and surveillance using CCTVs and others to be able to still see how we can curb malpractice issues and maintain the integrity of our examination system. So that is it from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oyerinde. I think it really highlights the importance of getting the technology right, getting the network integrity right, and the hard and unrelenting work that goes into this. Even in a period where, you know, the Nigerian university system has been through turmoil over the last several years. So really instructive to hear about what you've done to maintain the basis for having blended and online learning at University of Jos. Colleagues, we have a few minutes now where people could ask questions if they want to. I think most of the questions that have come through so far have actually been answered in the chat. So if you have a question, please put it in the chat or request the microphone. I don't see anything coming through at the moment, but I've got a question for you. Okay, the question I have for you is there something here that you can use, something that you find useful in thinking about e-learning, blended online learning in your own institutions? Please put that into the chat. What's useful for you? What can you use?
Tony, I see Marie's hand is up.
Great. Marie, talk to us, please.
Yeah, just thank you to all the presenters. For us, coming from South Africa, sometimes we are not aware of exactly what is happening, but we also see the same struggles going on in similar environments. My question is, and that is just because of my personal interest, is how does students experience this? Do they experience it as something that really grab the attention now and actually let them be more, or they engage much more to the content because they can do it now at any time that they want to, specifically now, the ones who are doing it fully online. So I think let me pose the question to Dr. Ralitza. Maybe you can answer the question. So in other words, better engagement, better experience. What was the experience of your students?
All right. Thank you so much for that. I'll say that now is actually much more better engagement because it is now a policy for us to have both online and also in person. I'm talking about the face-to-face environment. So it gives students the chance to be able to also work at their own pace. It also gives us the chance to be able to manage the students better because we are getting a lot of students coming in. And sometimes for the studio practices, you cannot do flip learning, okay? So students can actually even engage with the materials before they come. And then you can now use the face-to-face environment for more practical and one-on-one engagement and all of that. So this has really transformed our learning environment. And not even only within my teaching environment, but if you look at the sciences, for example, where you get a lot of people coming in, they have all these medical laboratory testing that they have to do. With the OERs, it is not always the same that you get the same cases happening. So with the OERs, we are able to document these cases and then students can also engage with them. And this has also reduced the overcrowding within the labs. So because of that, the engagement is better and students are actually able to actually have more time to also learn, and we are also able to manage them better. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Deborah. I'm going to ask each of the panelists if they just have a few closing words. We're talking sentences, not paragraphs or volumes. So, Dr. Muyinda, a few closing words from you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think, as you've rightly noted, e-learning has been a long journey with a slow speed in the beginning, but now increasingly in our universities we have engaged a fast gear by all stakeholders. The students, the academic staff, the non-teaching staff, the management are all now talking one voice of us actually moving into this new and innovative teaching and learning approach. The voice is now one. Previously, we used to have disjointed voices, but now we're increasingly getting one voice, and the voice is let's move on. Let's get the challenges head on, and we solve them as we go ahead. That is what I can conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Uyerinde.
Yes, thank you very much. For me, I think the challenges that would arise from disruptive technologies, from increase in knowledge of technology and the use, we who are implementing e-learning have to keep up with the times and also try to be a step ahead, because if we're not able to keep that up, then our efforts will probably just wash away, because the integrity of the whole exercise itself is also a very paramount feature of the benefits that can arise from it as well. So we do have to keep on being on our toes and increase our knowledge as well in research and in capacity building to ensure that we have proper e-learning implementations and assessments across the regions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Deborah.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll say that technology has really come to stay, and fighting it will not really help us as educators, but we have to embrace it and find appropriate strategies to align that with pedagogy to be able to address the ever-changing challenges with our teaching to ensure that we provide quality education for all in our various institutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Dr. Paul Muyinda, Dr. Elitsa Debra, and Dr. Oyinka Oyirinde for sharing your experiences, insights, and learning from the decades of work that you have done at your universities in Uganda, Ghana, and Nigeria, and for bringing information to South African colleagues which previously was unavailable to us, and looking forward to the ongoing conversations and networking. And thank you to Dr. Marie van Wyk for the opportunity to have this event.
Thank you so much, Tony, and for all of the colleagues for being here for the panel discussion. We really appreciate it. I see we've got a very small break, a 3-minute break, if someone needs to maybe run and quickly grab a coffee. And at 20 to 10, we will then start with the interview process where again, Tony will lead us in that discussion. Thank you.